Today, we're looking at the top 5 best football boots for shooting. Not necessarily in a, if you choose these boots, you're gonna score more goals kind of way, but simply looking at which boots feel flipping awesome putting your foot through the ball in. Number 5 is the Adidas X17 PURESPEED, where you get a relatively low toe box, which means that you can get nicely under the ball and not feel clumsy. We're talking a lace cover that, at least to some extent, cleans up the striking surface pretty well. And then we're talking this interesting inner lining of a relatively thick foam that makes you feel both like you're packing some punch, but also that you get this soft, elegant response. And in terms of shooting, these are pretty good. In fourth, we have a lot of the modern Nike Mercurials out there, but in particular, the Nike Mercurial Vapor 11. And this might not be for everyone, but for me, this very barefoot-like, slightly pingy and powerful sensation you get makes it feel like it's more or less just bone to ball, and it's very, very satisfying really putting your foot through the ball and feeling the raw power. And for me, striking in this is very honest, it's very no-nonsense, and I actually find myself enjoying it quite a lot. Now, third place goes out to another personal favorite of mine, the PUMA FUTURE 18.1 Netfits, that have a pretty good Magista Obra-like vibe to them, with a little bit more grip I feel, and also a pretty good clean striking surface. And if you're a bit clever, you can actually create an even cleaner striking surface because you can basically lace them up however you want. But shooting itself in the boot is pretty responsive, it feels pretty nimble, but also the upper is thick enough to give you confidence to really whack the ball hard, and also thin enough to make you feel like you're in full control at any point. I love these. But it actually gets better, because the runner-up is this bad boy, the Predator 18 Plus from Adidas, that has this lovely laceless design that gives you a very, very clean connection with the ball, no matter where you decide to hit it. Of course, it also means that there are no excuses if you decide to screw up, but I guess that's how it goes. But the best thing about the boot is actually this toe box here, this soft and plush toe box that both makes you feel like you can get that cat paw-like elegance, but also get that hardcore moving like a missile shots. Of course, I wouldn't choose the Predator 18 Plus in a match, I would go for the 18.1 for the lockdown, but in terms of pure shooting, this is one of the most satisfying around. Before we move on to the top honest though, let's show some love to some of the other strike kings that sadly didn't make the list. First up, we have the Nike Magista Obra 2 low cut that's very balanced and elegant. We have the Under Armour Magnetico that's so thin it feels painted on, if you're into that sort of thing. We have the Umbro UX Acuro that gives you a lot of texture and weight when you shoot. And finally, we have the Mizuno Repula made in Indonesia that gives you that lovely padding from the leather with a sharp, crisp feel on the ball as well. But here is number 1. Because my personal favorite for shooting is the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 3 DF. And that's a bit of a funny thing, because normally I'm more or less exclusively a low cut kind of guy. But I feel that for shooting, the dynamic fit color here adds a little bit less bulk around the ankle, because there's less transition from boot to foot right here, and it makes you feel like the boot is a little bit more a part of your foot, all over the area where you strike the ball. And combine that with a pretty low, lovely toe box, a big, clean striking surface, thanks to the off-center lacing, and these here rate-dependent foam parts that feel like they add a bit of oomph to your shot. It feels natural, it feels pingy, and actually it just feels straight up awesome shooting. So there you go guys, my top 5 favorite football boots for shooting. But of course, keep in mind that no football boot out there will make you better at shooting or scoring more goals. The only way you can do that is with practice, practice, and more practice. But hey, on the other hand, wouldn't it be cool to wear boots that you actually think feel super awesome shooting in if you do it a lot? I mean, it only kind of makes sense. But guys, let me know what you think are the best boots for shooting in the comment section right down below. You can also go and do yourself a favor to subscribe to our channel to see even more wicked football boot videos on an almost daily basis. And then you can go and binge watch more top 5s by clicking right down here. And with that said guys, I'm signing off. See you next time. Cheerio.